race fans, and welcome to Disc Golf Daily. It is Friday, June 14th. Stay tuned after the news for some thoughts on the new Timeout rule. We are the podcast that gets you caught up with disc golf news and growth in about 10 minutes. Here we go. Our first story of the day, Pro Masters is halfway done. We are going to do a quick run through of the 12 different divisions. In MP40, Joe Rovere has a pretty big lead. FP40, Owen Scoggins has a pretty big lead. In MP50, here's the battle. Brian Schweberger leads Johnny McRae by 1, Justin McClune by 2. And don't count out Jay Redding. He's just 6 strokes off the pace, and he had the second hottest score in the division. In FP50, Juliana Korver in a runaway. In MP55, Simon Feasey is beating Kevin Babbitt, and Patrick Brown is 13 strokes back in third place. FP55, Elaine King going for her 7,000th PDGA major title is only 1 stroke ahead of Kirsi Kaikkonen. Wow, that is a battle. MP60, Tim Keith leads Dean Tannick by 1 and Andrew Back by 3. Vinny Miller is just 4 back, an old Vibram guy. In FP60, Amy Schiller is beating Andy Young by 2. MP65, Bill Rowe is beating Kenny Lee by 1, and J. Gary Dropcho by 2. Jeff Fiedler's 4 back. FP65, this is my favorite division. Tita Ugaldi is beating Janice Jones. No, they're not. They're tied. Tita gained 5 strokes on Janice in round 3, and they are now tied. Kathy Hardiman, arguably the favorite in the division, is 3 strokes back. In MP70, Dave Greenwell is ahead of Ron Rice and Harvey Brandt by 2. Randy Beers is 3 back. Levon Wolf is 4 back. That is a tight division. Those guys have been playing with each other for a long time. And in the MP80 division, Pete May, also going for his 7,000th PDGA major victory, is 9 strokes ahead of Jack Gilmore. I will say, though, Jack tied Pete in round 1 and only lost to him by 1 in round 2. He lost a lot of in round 3. He lost a lot of ground in round 2. I'm looking for Jack Gilmore to make a surprise comeback in these next couple rounds and put the pressure on Pete May. Our number 2 story of the day, the Turku Open starts today. Silva Saarinen, Laurie Lehtinen lead the DGPT Europe Point Series so far. Actually, unless you listen to this podcast right as it drops, the Turku Open has already started. Tune in to GGN to catch all the action. Eric Oakley and James Proctor join the best Europe has to offer, including Nicholas Antala, Jesse Niemanen, Vainio Makala, and Silver Lot. On the women's side, Kristen is sitting this one out. Henna, Evelina Silva, and Rachel Turton will be battling with the best of Europe. Women's coverage starts at 3:40 a.m. Eastern Time. The men's coverage starts at 9:40 a.m. Having said that, with the new DGN platform, as soon as the coverage is complete, you can start it over and watch it with no waiting. Enjoy all the action whenever you wake up. Stay up late. Our number 3 news story, PDGA approved discs. H13 has their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th discs PDGA approved. H13 has had the Embark, which is a putter, PDGA approved. They have had the Companion, which is also a putter, PDGA approved. And they have had the Adventurer, which is a fairway driver, PDGA approved. Discmania has had the Drop, PDGA approved. This is what I would call an approach disc, just like a slow mid. And Clash Discs has had the tone variant of the Cookie, a fairway driver, PDGA approved. Congrats to everybody for getting your discs PDGA approved. Now let's talk about pace of play and what seems like the current thinking about how to fix it, and maybe another way to look at the problem of slow cards and players. Timeout! Or better yet, how about 2? There's been plenty of talk about the proposed 2 timeout rule. For those of you who have been living under a rock or skipped the Tuesday episode of Disc Golf Daily, the PDGA Rules Committee has proposed giving each player 2 one-minute timeouts during each round. This timeout can be called anytime during or before your 30 seconds before your throw. It cannot be called after the 30 seconds to make your throw has expired. And if you have to go to the bathroom, you don't need to call a timeout. That is still just allowed. Presumably, you won't be walking up the fairway to scout your shot while you look for the bathrooms. As with any significant change, there will always be pushback. The funny thing is, though, I guarantee that the Rules Committee already did a lot of discussion and pushback internal, and they still proposed implementing this rule. My 3 questions. What is the goal of this rule change? Is this the best way to reach the goal? And number 3, bonus question, should this rule change initially be enacted only at the elite and major levels? Number 1, what is the goal of this rule change? It seems that the clear goal of this change is to address the slow pace of play. Faster disc golf is much more fun to watch since you get more shots in a shorter amount of time. If that's the case, let's use other sports efforts and see what we can apply. For example, Major League Baseball, they implemented a pitch clock, the batter's box rule, and intentional walks, all as ways to speed up the game of baseball, which we all know needed it. The pitch clock is similar to disc golf actually enforcing the 30 seconds per throw. It's just a question of implementation. The batter's box rule, the batter must keep a foot in the batter's box between pitches, making them ready quicker. This could be adapted to disc golf, making players responsible for being ready to throw in a timely manner after the previous throw. Intentional walks. Baseball now allows the manager to indicate that there will be an intentional walk rather than making the pitcher throw 4 balls. Totally makes sense. Disc golf could implement something similar by letting players pick up discs inside the bullseye and/or mandating that a player putt out right after a missed putt. Both would speed things up nicely. NBA and golf. They've got a shorter shot clock in different situations. For example, the first person to tee off or throw a fairway drive first on a par 4 gets extra time because they have to get to their ball and they did not have any time to prepare while someone else hit the ball. Shortening the shot clock for the other drives and/or approach shots when players should have already had the opportunity to get ready while watching another player throw or hit could speed up the game. Soccer often reviews penalties while play is ongoing. If it wouldn't impact play, they just let it go. If it would and it should have been called, they stop play once it has been determined that it would impact play. It allows for play to continue and the play to be reviewed concurrently with play. If disc golf implements video evidence into calls, this would be a good thing to keep in mind. Play can continue while it's being reviewed, unless it is on one of the final few holes of the tournament, and then you probably want to know the outcome before you continue playing. Number 2, how does allowing timeouts make for faster play? I'm guessing here, but the theory would be that because players can call timeouts, it's easier to call a player on slow play, thus making slow play a thing of the past. The one problem with this logic is that the players all see each other at most of the events, and making these calls would cause drama and aggravation between humans. It would also take people out of their preparation for their next shot. Clearly, this is a tough topic, which is why there's so much debate and so much creativity in solving it. Or perhaps the goal of this change is to protect the players because more and more time violations are actually being called, and sometimes there's a genuinely tricky shot or you need to run up the fairway to get a sense of the wind when you leave the woods, or you just need to gather yourself. If that is the goal, then I think this will do it, although it is quite possible that 2 timeouts is not enough, especially if we start being strict with the 30-second shot clock. Question number 3, is this the best way to reach the goal? Implementation of the shot clock is the sticky wicket. Without a significant investment in shot clocks that travel with the tour and volunteers to walk around with them, there does not seem to be a comfortable way to call slow play consistently. And imagine being the volunteer that has to tell Nico that his 30 seconds are up. I love Nico, but I would not like to make that call. And yes, I've done it before, and I know it is uncomfortable. Let's think about slow play. Sometimes a card has 3 or 4 open holes in front of them and has a backup behind them. Clearly, the card is playing slower than all of the other cards. Additionally, using a sort in the scoring app, it's actually pretty easy to see where this is happening and get a message to the card. This can be done remotely, and the message can get to the card via the PDGA scoring app. Heck, this could even be done automatically with a little script. Your card has more than 2 open holes in front of it. Please play ready golf until you close the gap to within 1 open hole. If it continues to get worse, the card can be issued a warning. Again, this could be done automatically via a script. Your card has more than 3 open holes in front of it. This is a warning. If the gap is not closed within 20 minutes, each player on the card will receive a 1-stroke penalty. Now, everybody keeps score, so everybody would see this note. Everybody on the card would say, let's not get stroked. Let's play ready golf and catch up. If a penalty stroke is assessed, I think the players would have the right to appeal the decision. For example, if a card was in good faith trying to catch up, and then 2 players lost discs and had to walk back to the tee, they managed not to lose any more ground, but they couldn't catch up fast enough, the TD would be able to make the final determination to grant or deny the appeal. This feels like the most easily implemented adjustment that would address the actual issue. This could be done across all tournaments and treat everyone equally, or it could be introduced at elite and major events for a year to teach everyone how it works, and then it would be applied to A through C tiers the following year. Just a thought that gets rid of the drama while encouraging pace of play equal to the average groups. We've got the technology. Let's go ahead and use it. I am glad that the powers that be are thinking about slow play and the best ways to address it before our game becomes the slow and boring snooze fest that traditional golf is. We should be open to being even more creative with our solutions, whether it be quicker putting out or using technology to keep us on pace. Let us know what you think. That does it for us today at Disc Golf Daily. If you have any thoughts, news, or opinions, shoot us an email at discgolfdaily@aol.com. As always, have fun, throw them straight, and hit the thin gap. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really does help us grow.